In this episode we will have a look at reed contacts for train controller, continue the mock-up landscape, and we'll have a closer look at these classic Kibri houses. Stay tuned. Okay, so the big idea is that I will continue with this mock-up landscape and take it around here, maybe some kind of embankment, because I know that over here I will cover up this corner of the layout. The original plan called for a terminus station here for the branch line with a typical Danish market town around. But I'm not sure about that. Maybe I'll take the branch line instead and take it up here, run an embankment, and it could go back all the way to Sundborg station, and then I could make sort of a small station area here for what would be a private railway line. There were numerous in Denmark in the 1950s. Private is actually not a good way to describe it because they were usually run by a consortium of municipalities, but anyway, something like that. But in order for me to test that idea, I will start the mock-up and we'll see where it goes from there. But before all that, I have a job that I have postponed, and I'll have to deal with that now. The job that I've been postponing is to install a number of these guys. These are reed contacts, and they give a sort of flash impulse to the feedback module. And I need a number of these in connection with the main station tracks here. And in connection with the signals that I'm going to install here at a later point. That's what the red pins signify. So I need reed contacts just before the signals to make sure that the locomotives stops exactly where I want them to. And of course reed contacts are they're set off by magnets under the locos. So I need reed contacts over here, and I need reed contacts at this area of the station to make sure that the signals will work as intended. And eventually I need reed contact also at the staging area down here. But all that is a little boring to watch, so I'm going to film the installation of one reed contact, and then you can sort of imagine the rest. The issue is, and that's one of the reasons, that's a better reasons for postponing it, is that these guys have to be connected in series. And it's a little difficult to do that before you actually know the final track plan. So there you go. Okay, first we have to remove the track temporarily and remove one of the sleepers because the reed contact will go in there instead. That is easily done, and the reed contact will fit something like this. Now I have to find out where exactly to drill a hole for the wires, and it will be something like there. it goes. I found that it was actually easier to put the reed contact through the base plate from under the plate and up. Here it comes. And we're ready to mount it. The track is back in place. So it's a reed contact now. We can tighten the cords and it's almost invisible. Good. Time for a test. We take a logo. There's the reed contact. We take the logo over the reed contact so the magnet is exactly over the contact, and we can see the LED goes on here on the feedback module. Testing again, we push the logo a bit back. The magnet is no longer triggering the reed contact, and yep, lights off. A few more tests, of course. Back. Forth goes the logo, and the LED goes on and off and on again. Back to the mock-up landscape. This is a styrofoam, of course, very cheap. And I have bought this new hot wire cutter. And with that, it is extremely easy to cut through this type of styrofoam. It's very soft. And the wire cutter makes very nice 45-degree angles here. You can actually do exactly the angle that you like. So now I'm going to cut something in a 90-degree angle. It is just very satisfying to make a rather complicated cut like this in one go. So I have cut the pieces. The innermost are not that exact, but they don't have to. Here comes the pieces with the 45-degree angle. Makes a nice embankment. 3 layers of that, and we are ready to go. Just like that. Easy peasy. At each end of the embankment I need some supplementary pieces. This one is next to where the branch line goes, and another set will fit here between the embankment and the city mock-up plate. And to avoid all the whiteness of the styrofoam, I made a sort of cover plate here of just cheap grey cardboard, and some corrugated cardboard here to cover the embankment. This is all a mock-up, right? So it doesn't have to be very detailed or anything like that. This will make do as a concrete wall for the time being, and at the other end as well, a temporarily wall will come up here. I imagine that I will have a bridge going over the tracks here, so I was actually experimenting a bit with the angle here. It remains to be seen. Alright, so the mock-up embankment area is more or less ready for now, so let's see what we can use it for. What about some houses? Here's some really nice classic Kibri models that I have left over from my old layout back in the day, and let's have a look at the history behind them, because it's quite interesting, I think. I don't know exactly when they came out, but I have here my old catalog from 1978, 79, and here you can see the houses featured prominently. Um, if you compare to other houses at the time, it was usually half timbered houses like these ones or alpine things, but these houses were special, right? Because they were more everyday like, and I guess that's why they were so popular back in the day. You can see the full range of 5 houses. There's a earlier iteration of these buildings with sort of cartoonish style boxes. Anyway, the fun thing is that these are modeled on real houses. Here you can quite clearly see them. They're located in Nuremberg in Germany. And if you find them on Google Map, you can take a tour around the area here. And if we go down to Street View, we can have a look at what is the corner building. And here's a brown house. And apart from the colors, these are spot on, right? For many years, the houses were a staple of German model railway magazines, celebrated for their realism. You can see here the measurements are noted, and I think the backside is actually a further attraction of these houses. And just look at this one. It's from my block pen pal Bruno in Italy. Is creating a Berlin atmosphere here, and just look at what he has done here. The level of realism is stunning. Unfortunately, the houses are not in the current Kibri catalog, but they're reruns from time to time, and here you can see one featured in a set, sort of a rejuvenated industrial neighborhood thing. So back to my own houses. As you can see here, I took a few photos of them before I started messing about with them. The thing is that the colors are a bit off for a Danish context. For instance, a facade like this, green, you wouldn't see that in Denmark, but the shop is very nice, so I changed it into this. So I changed the facade by adding some scale scenes, brick paper, and it worked rather well. You just slap it on and cut the windows out. Really easy actually, and the result is something that looks much more like what you would see in a Danish context. And of course a few billboards helps a lot, and again the backside really nice. So what came out of it was a series of houses that looks very much like what you would see in a provincial town in Denmark. You can always add more details, but I think this sort of conveys 1950s Denmark fine. Okay, so what about the current layout? Well, the issue is that although they were celebrated for their realism in their day, the houses are in fact smaller by quite a margin from compared to the houses on the right of the station. So I would have to put them somewhere else. So what I'm thinking is maybe I should try to put them on the left side of the station area. If you're familiar with the concept of forced perspective, you know that if you have smaller scale buildings towards the back of your layout, smaller trees, smaller cars, it can create the illusion of depth. So this could be one way of using the houses, and here comes the first tree on the new layout, and here comes the first citizen. So progress. Okay, so let me know in the comment section if you think that the forced perspective thing is working. Back to the initial idea, maybe I will have a private railway line having its terminus station here at the upper level. Let me know what you think about that as well. So the branch line, the private railway, would go round the corner here and run along the embankment. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so let's recap. We did the reed contacts today. We did 5 new old houses and the mock-up embankment. And as you can see, train controller is all fired up. I need to check and recheck that all the reed contacts are working as intended. And here comes 5 o'clock express train to Belborg. Good way to end this episode. If you like what you saw, please leave a like, hit the bell button, subscribe, help the channel grow. See you next time. Bye bye.